Welcome back to another episode of Insights with Experts, where we aim to encourage and foster discussion, learning, and creating an informed global community. To view this and other interviews in detail, head over to theseer.org, linked in the description. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel for constant updates. Enjoy the episode.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Insights with Experts. Joining us here today, we are very fortunate to have Emre, who is a country advisor at the Investment Office of the Presidency of Turkey. Now, Emre, it is absolutely wonderful to have you here today. How are you? How have things been?
Great, thank you so much, Sham. I'm very happy to be part of this wonderful initiative, and I'm very excited to share my thoughts and also hear the some inspiring questions, and will be happy to share back with your community. So life is, as you can imagine, quite a bit becoming a very as usual, and the days just following days with the same pattern, mostly because of we are not able to travel at all. Based in Singapore, just to give a very quick background of myself, have been here for the last 4 years time, just to represent a government-linked organization which is aiming to attract some foreign direct investment into the country, so covering the Southeast Asia territory. So I mean, we are all gone through this same adventure for the last 1.5 years time so far, so we already got used to the working patterns of this new normal. So in short, I would say I'm doing fine, and hopefully we'll do much better in the coming days.
Awesome, that sounds good. And yeah, I guess we'll try to make the questions as inspiring as you said. So I guess just to begin, I think it'd be quite interesting to get an overview of your journey, and specifically what inspired you to enter the world of investing and actually eventually end up working at the office over there in Turkey.
Well, to be honest, this, I can just identify myself very shortly as a foreign direct investment practitioner. So I have been working with the multinational companies for more than 12 years so far. So I have started my journey back in Istanbul, the commercial capital of Turkey. Is such a distant, far market from both Singapore or Australia. But at the end, I spent like 7-8 years over there, and having an expertise of working with mostly Asian companies, Asian multinationals. So the best part of doing this job is I have always had chance to work with multi-industry groups, or let's say people which always bring me back some very valuable expertise of having an insight of different industries, particularly while they are launching their businesses in an overseas market. So that's why you can one day work with a automotive supply company looking for a suitable land for their constructing their next manufacturing plant to supply for a just-in-time delivery for the OEM manufacturer. The next day you can start working on a very entertainment-led gaming or multimedia, or let's say e-commerce driven business, which will also contribute to the economy on a different aspect, let's say. So the best part was having a multicultural and also industrial expertise throughout my career so far, I would say.
Right. And, the next thing I wanted to move on to, now you've described the role that you do, you've described your background and so on. And I think, one thing that happens in uni that we see quite often are students going into specific jobs, not actually knowing what they entail, but more for just the actual job title itself, for the, medium pay, for, what their degree can actually get them. And they don't have much conceptualization of what the job actually is. So I think it'd be quite interesting to, I guess, hear what the average day in the life of someone in your line of work looks like. I guess from the second you wake up, perhaps this can be before COVID, after COVID, but just from the second you wake up to the second you go back home, what does that moment look like?
Yeah, you put it very correctly, because it's very much different than the moment before COVID or after COVID. We need to definitely separate two periods of life, because I've just been gone through a proper business administration and management education in a college called METÜ, Middle Eastern Technical University, which is located in the capital city of Ankara in Turkey. So which was mostly specialized on engineering and technical skill development. But most of my peers, my friends, other students have usually preferred to go through banking or financial advisory or audit and consultancy companies, mostly namely the big fours that we know all over the world. But I have preferred to work with this organization because it was a semi-governmental profile, which means like it was still backed by the central government, but in the meantime I could have chance to work with the private sector, just to gain a understanding and the experience of working with a private sector mindset and also growth oriented business opportunity. So that's why I just applied to this organization and start working with almost since my graduation back in 2009. And after that, I had been relocated to Singapore back in 2017, and since then I was quite often traveling. I was traveling to other surrounding markets of Singapore, mostly Malaysia, which was another target country for us. So I would say I was spending almost a week of my entire month in the overseas markets. And apart from that, my biggest target is to make new reach out. So I'm always chasing after new leads, because our job is lead generation, basically to identify proper leads and report back to the HQ for raising new project pipeline for new companies to make either greenfield or M&A investments in the country. So that's why, if I may summarize, there are like three components of my work. As I'm working alone as a overseas representative, I do have a quite heavy, reporting mechanism, which I, write quite extensive, let's say, reports or let's say feedbacks about the companies that we are chasing after. The next thing would be lead generation, to spending efforts to reach out the targets, accounts or companies, contacts, whatever. And finally, on the third part, which is also maybe the most difficult but the most exciting part, is to holding outreach events, so which is mostly consisting of virtual events nowadays, as you can imagine, webinars or some sort of briefing sessions or panels, or just participating at the global scale or regional scale, like again virtual summits. So yeah, this is how I usually make use of my time.
Right, and do you ever look back to when I guess you were in university, when you were in high school, and have you ever, I guess, thought of there being any specific subjects that you now, now that you know that you're in work, you know the skills being demanded of you, you know the jobs you have to do you ever look back to when you were in uni and think, okay, maybe I should have spent more time learning this subject, or I wish I learned this skill, or anything like that?
Frankly speaking, the most, I think, challenging part or the setback, let's say, of my current job is, lacking the operational part of a, business. So let's say I'm very much specialized and focused on how to launch a business overseas, but how to run this business is somehow missing on my capability. So I wish I have spent a little bit more time on the of course this is a matter of vision and the seeing the future, but when we look at the today's ongoing trends, so the funding society all around the world. I mean, those new ventures, funding opportunities is, plenty all over the world. So I wish I had spent much more time on the, how to, after launching a business, how to run a business. And I wish I have spent more time on the entrepreneurship skills, just in short, because if the whole story relies and goes back to the entrepreneurship, because if you have the mindset of an entrepreneur, you will definitely have a better understanding of the next move by your account that as an account manager that I'm in touch with the companies. So better understanding of the what does return on investment mean. So something that I'm trying to propose or making advice would really make sense for the counterpart. So in order to better understand that, I think always, regardless of the domain, regardless of the faculty or the specialty area that you're pursuing, I think all our friends need to concentrate on the entrepreneurship aspect of their business domain. So because at the end of the day, at one day, I think it is always very, very, useful to having the self-confidence of starting something from scratch. And also, even if you are, fulfilling a position in a corporate world, most of the corporate world is now encouraging the entrepreneurial skills, and they're very much paying attention on the in-house, entrepreneurial philosophy of their employees. So that's why I think I should have spent more time to develop my soft skills on the entrepreneurship side, because at the time of early 2000s, as you can imagine, those kind of trends, those kind of topics were not that popular. Everyone was very much stick to a straightforward career line. So if you follow good enough a linear career path, then it was most likely that you will succeed at the end of the day. But as I said, now we're at a point that we all get prepared for a plan B, and which is, I think, nothing but entrepreneurship. Some tremendous returns and very exciting, experiences, and just having the ultimate feeling of self-actualization of yourself, because none of the revenue levels or titles would make you feel as good as accomplishing something on your own.
Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. To learn more about Orakui, as well as more information about our upcoming episodes, don't forget to follow our socials for constant updates and education content. Links are always in the description.
Right. And the last, I guess, topic that I wanted to touch on was a lot more pertinent to the fact that, at the end of the day, our platform is very Gen Z centric. And
Right.
I think it would be quite interesting because I think you're the first guest we've actually had from Turkey. And, I'd like to take into account the fact that Turkey has the youngest median population of any country in Europe. And I wanted to know how this impacts, I guess, how Turkey as a country views Gen Z. Is youth development, and do you think, the prioritization of youth development is something that is fairly important?
Frankly speaking, as all over the world, the future trends, how to, communicate better with Gen Z is the trendiest, hottest topic in Turkey as well. Because as you have emphasized, yes, we do have the youngest population, and we are not only the youngest, but also the quickest and earliest adopters of the each and every technology, because our youngsters are quite ambitious and quite open to adopt the new developments, improvements, because we are coming from a market where you need to always keep up with the new developments, because this is the way of how to survive. We are not coming from a overprivileged community, I would say. So this is not, there is no such a strong legacy, and in order to survive and keep a very good level of and contribute to your community, you need to work hard, and also you need to always be open to the new, let's say, trends and whatever comes from the global scale. So I think that now Turkey pays a lot attention in order to provide a promising future for the Gen Z, and there are so many ongoing initiatives on the public and private sector in order to let them to get engaged and involved in the working life as early as possible, and also to let their utilize their potential as much as possible. So I think a very good proof of that, such a fruitful climate and environment in Turkey maybe could be demonstrated by the gaming sector. Like let's say, for example, the gaming industry is booming all around the world, as we know. Like doesn't matter, hyper casual, mobile, or AAA, great, whatever the name is, that type of the game. But the Turkey's youngsters and all community itself is just doing very impressive job, and within a 18 months time we managed to bring along 2 unicorns out of the mobile gaming industry, which was just established 1-2 years back again. So those youngsters are having a good atmosphere of an environment of utilizing their own skills. So that the community itself is just trying their best to support them. Of course, there are some generational gaps in some sort of the community, maybe because of the large geography that we are sitting on. There is a divide between West and East part of the country, unfortunately. There are some underdeveloped parts, but again, at least, thanks to the digitalization, now it's getting much more easier for them to access to the real time and the real opportunities, whatever happens on the Western Bloc of the country. So I would say, in short, yes, there is a awareness, and there is a kind of high level of attention paid to this largest part of the community. Yep.
So touching a bit about what you mentioned, that Turkey does pay attention to Gen Zs, that you guys are interested in gaming, for example. What are other trends, areas, industry, countries that you think Turkey or yourself is particularly bullish about and paying attention to? So this could be geography, like bullish on India, bullish on China. This could be just general categories like gaming. What are certain things that you think are the future?
Yep. I mean, traditionally, Turkey's, face has been towards the, Western part of the world. I mean, when it comes to, growth or expanding your exports, sales, your presence, whatever you think of, everyone was thinking about, Europe and US. So that was kind of priority markets. But now people have just come an understanding that it's not about only Western Bloc. So there is an amazing growth dynamics in Eastern Bloc, in starting from China to all around Asia Pacific. And so that's why, I mean, that was the main motivation of our also organization to set up new offices, not only in Singapore, but in Japan, Korea, and mainland China as well. So that's why I would say the new, let's say, territories that we are bullish is the Asian markets. We are trying to, increase the presence and awareness in these markets. So we have been, allocating certain budgets and, also trying to make new connections between the startups of Turkey and their counterparts in this part of the world. So with this mission, just for myself, I've been, connecting with the several other, accelerators, venture capitalists. So all those smart money and new, money people for let them interact with each other. And when it comes to the verticals, I think we are doing very good at gaming, as you said. But apart from the gaming, I think we do have a strong potential on the agrotech, for instance, because as a agriculturally rich country, let's say, we also carry a strong potential to build up new business ideas, to tap into the new markets with some new, let's say, innovative startups, for them to also increase their footprint in the Asian markets. There are several other areas that everyone is concentrating on, such as like a fintech or medtech, whatever. But at the end, I believe this is all a matter of timing. So when you enter into a market with the right timing, with the right strategy, so I think there is no more, importance, or the much more nobody is concerned about the domicile of the company, and it doesn't really matter whether you are a Turkish or whatever else country originally. So it's all about your skill set and your integrity and your ability to integrate into this new opportunity gaps. So as long as you can fulfill these gaps, so I think there will be a always way to go for Turkish startups. So that's why, I mean, we have managed, to bring along, as I said, 2 unicorns in the gaming, but there have been 3 more just in a couple months' time on the e-commerce field, which is not surprising for an 85 million country. But at the end, when we look at the valuations, those companies are becoming kind of reference models for at least for the surrounding regions. So Turkey, on that aspect, is a very good place to tap into resources of Middle East and Northern African countries as well. So I mean, likewise, Singapore, as we all know, I mean, it's the best entry point into the Southeast Asia when you want to penetrate into surrounding markets. Singapore is always a good landing point. Similar to that, I think we do have a similar role in the respective region in the Middle East and Northern Africa, as I've said. So I think there are a vast number of opportunities, and we will see. I think in an upcoming 3 to 5 years time, we are expecting at least 5, 6 new unicorns, even decacorns, coming out of Turkey, because they are having a competitive skill sets, both ambitious, right? I have said it right in the beginning, and also quite open to follow trends. So that's why, not surprisingly, we are climbing up and up in the Europe's funding and exit, charts when it comes to the tech or startup ecosystem.
So touching a bit about trends and expanding on that, has there been any specific trends or markets that you or Turkey were bullish about that didn't work out so well? Or were there any other markets or trends or industries that you or Turkey weren't so excited about that suddenly did very well? And if so, why do you think it worked out or it didn't work out? And why did you guys catch it or not catch it?
Let me just, get this question on a little bit consumer retail point of view, because apparently Turkish, like as an example of, I mentioned about agro-food, for example, but there had been markets that we couldn't really do well, although there had been tremendous efforts, for instance, in Japan market. It might be mostly because of the strong domestic trends and the dynamics, and if you ever try to adopt a typical single strategy into those specific markets like Japan, you will most likely fail. So you will definitely need a tailor-made and more localized strategy to fit into such markets. So I think it might be a good example of how we failed. As a, just referring back to consumer retail and consumer food and beverage industry experiences that I have known for some time from the local players in Turkey. And apart from that, what we have done very significantly, well, is US market, I would say, because referring back to this gaming industry, we have managed to, raise some mobile games who have been ranked number 1 or number 2 in the app markets for consecutively for several months, weeks, or whatever, for a very sustainable and consistent period of time. They managed to grasp all the in-app purchase revenues of those markets. So although they most probably did not spend any single cent in the consumer sentiments in those markets, although they didn't have much know about the consumer over there, they managed to become very successful and very profitable companies. So and I think it's not a coincidence to those large fund houses or VCs have preferred them to partner with. So I think this might be the two let's say examples of the recent commercial success and failure experiences that our companies had gone through, I would say. Yeah.
So we're reaching the end, and we ask a final question to everyone, regardless of industry, and that is, if you have one piece of advice to give to the youth listening, what is that one piece of advice?
Like I said in the beginning, always think of a multi-dimensional, discipline, and don't be stick to a one single, focus area, because at one point of your life, you might need to, develop a skill set which will make you, bring you in a very, strong position just by, having a very strong financially, financial understanding of the markets, let's say, because that was the one we have witnessed in the last 1 year's time. For those who had a very, financial literacy on the markets, they have made the, returns more than that you could have done for a 15, 20 years of career lifetime. So at the end of the day, it's mostly about, being able to understand the trends and all these, technical analysis and whatever. And on the other hand, I think, multiculturalism and being, open to connect and, let's say, ability to work with other nations, other cultures is a key thing, because on a contrary to the ongoing trends all over the world politically, I think the only best way to survive and also the grow as a individual will be to make business with the overseas markets. So always keep an open mind towards the others. Don't be just overwhelmed with the ideas of the common like let's say ongoing politic arguments, because they will end up in a nothing. So there's a just a useless scenario for everyone involved. So I think at the end of the day, everyone will better understand how it is useful to be able to work with others. So being domestically, self-sufficient is just a, wrong theory at the end. So it will not work out. So I think that these two things, multidisciplinary and multicultural openness.